Two funds. One returned 15% last year, the other returned 12%. At first glance, most people would probably pick the 15% fund. But what if I told you the 12% fund may have been the better risk adjusted investment? It sounds wrong, but once you understand the Sharpe ratio, you start looking at returns differently. Here's the problem with raw returns. Two funds both made 15% last year. Most people would call that a tie, but one of them put you through wide 30% swings while the other barely moved. That smoother ride isn't just more comfortable, in many cases it can be more valuable. The Sharpe ratio captures this. It measures risk-adjusted return, answering a simple but powerful question. How much return am I getting for each unit of risk that I'm taking? The formula has three parts. Take your portfolio's return, subtract the risk-free rate, and divide by the portfolio's standard deviation. Let me break that down. The return is what your investment actually earned. The risk-free rate is what you could have earned from a very low-risk benchmark, typically treasury bills, and standard deviation measures how much your returns bounced around. The more volatile your returns, the higher that number. Here's why this works. The numerator tells you your excess return, what you earned above the safer option. The denominator tells you how bumpy the ride was. Dividing one by the other gives you return per unit of risk. That's the comparison the Sharpe ratio is trying to make. So what's a good Sharpe ratio? As a rough rule of thumb, below 1 is often considered suboptimal. 1 to 2 is good, 2 to 3 is very good, above 3 is excellent, but rare to sustain. A negative Sharpe ratio is a red flag. It means you did worse than the risk-free rate. You took on volatility, but you were not compensated for it. Let me show you why this matters. Fund A returned 12% annualized with 8% volatility. Fund B returned 15% annualized with 20% volatility. With a 4% risk-free rate, Fund A's Sharpe ratio is 1. Fund B's Sharpe ratio is only 0.55. Fund B had higher returns, but Fund A delivered better risk-adjusted performance. You got more return for each unit of risk with the steadier fund. That's the insight many investors miss. But before you start screening everything by Sharpe ratio, you need to know its limitations. First, it treats all volatility as bad, but most investors care more about losses than unexpected gains. Large upside moves can increase the volatility penalty too. Second, standard deviation works best when returns are reasonably symmetric. With fat tails or skewed returns, it can miss risks that may matter to you. Third, it's backward looking. A great historical Sharpe ratio doesn't guarantee future performance. And fourth, the time period matters. The same fund can look excellent or weak depending on which years you measure. Here's the takeaway. Raw returns can be incomplete. A fund with lower returns might be more attractive if it took far less risk to get there. The Sharpe ratio gives you a way to compare investments on a more level playing field. Don't just chase the highest return. Ask how much risk it took to get there.